Hey, so I'm Brian, broker, owner, team leader for Landmark Premier Properties, and it is my honor today to be here with our newest client, Mr. Rich Lorenz. His son Daniel is with us. Shout out, Daniel. Yeah, we are celebrating the successful closing of Rich and Daniel's property in Byers, Colorado, along with the purchase of their brand new LGI home in Bennett. So Rich has agreed to answer a few questions, and I really appreciate it, buddy. I really appreciate it. So when at the beginning of the journey, like, did you have any kind of like pain or frustration or concerns going into this?
Not going into it this round.
Okay.
I mean, I had doubts whether it could sell based on previous experience trying to sell it.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, you came with high recommendations, and I know some of your family, and
yes,
and I figured if you're as good as your sons, you could probably sell it.
Thank you. I try to be, well, and that's a good point, Dad. For whatever reason, your home didn't sell the first time.
Right.
And so coming in as kind of the rebound team, we knew we had a job to do.
Right.
And in this business, it's a partnership. Our job is to get people to your house, and your job is to have the property at the right price that they want to buy. And so we do that together. And was there along this journey, I know you start out and it's kind of like the beginning and we're rolling, and then we're kind of climbing up a hill. Then we kind of hit a sweet spot, and now we're coming towards the finish line. Was there a point where you could have a sense of like, this is happening, this is not a drill, we're going to do this?
Well, I think at the point that we finally got an offer,
Yes.
and it seemed solid, and everything contingent upon inspection, and I felt like that would go well. So at that point, I felt like it was a go. But,
Good.
I mean, honestly, I felt like the Lord was directing, and this is going to happen this way.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Amen. I concur with that. And when it is tough in our business, it's a big kids business, and in our country we have the best system for buying and selling and transferring wealth via real estate. But when you have been out of the gate with another brokerage on another mission, and for whatever reason that mission wasn't successful, it's hard to gear back up, tool back up, and get pumped back up, to get back out there. But when you have a goal like you have, and then it gets, you got to get down to business to get that done. What was your goal, kind of, the reason behind wanting to do this?
I mean, the reason to do this obviously was the downsize. 40 acres was too much for me to take care of.
Yes.
And eliminate debt. And we succeeded.
Yes.
At that, other than, I need to pay this off.
Sure.
But that's it.
Okay.
Everything else that was there is paid off.
Well, that
was the goal.
Good. And congratulations on getting that done.
Yeah.
And we're really honored to help you. And that is a niche for us. And so everybody kind of has the things that they do. And one thing that we've been able to do extremely well is help people, our more, if you will, mature clients, downsize. And for some people, that's going into town farther than you went. But a lot are out on acreage. And, the winters aren't as much fun. The driving isn't as much fun. The upkeep of the property and everything that goes with that, not as much fun. Not, as animal centric as they once were. So you weren't an experiment, buddy. We've been doing this for a while. And this is my 31st year, good, bad, or ugly. And even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, right? So, but we were very honored to get this done for you. And when you went through this and we got to your new home, for the people out there, what feeling do you want them to have as far as just the possibility or the hope that this could happen for them?
Well, I think the team that you've put together, Melissa being a big part of that.
Agreed.
There's things that came up maybe 2 days before closing with Adams County that I'm like, holy cow, man, if this goes wrong, this deal is not gonna happen. And she like took that and handled it, and
Yes.
I got a paper to sign off.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, that's a God thing. But the work that she put in behind the scenes was critical. The way you advertise the house impressed me. It was always something out there. I think meeting with you the first time when we met in your office, you helped
Yes.
me to realize, probably didn't sell the first time because I had it overpriced, you know, honestly.
Yes.
And you helped me with that reality that it's not going to go
Right.
at that price. And so all of those things put together made for a successful, you can't find a better team than yourself. And I haven't met everybody at your office, but I know a few of them. You know?
Yes, you do.
You just can't find a better team to
Well,
work with.
thank you for saying that. And we do try really hard to satisfy our clients. If you go and look us up, for example, on Google, you'll only find 5-star reviews. And one of the reasons why is that we don't take assignments where we can't meet and exceed our clients' expectations. If we don't see it happening, we're not about getting the process started, although that's important. We're about getting it done and getting it done right and getting the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassles. And that doesn't mean there won't be hassles.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of liken this to a wagon train in the Western days leaving from St. Louis to San Francisco. And in that scenario, you hired us to be the trail boss and to be the head of the wagon train. And it doesn't mean that we won't meet robbers along the trail, or a wheel or two won't fall off the wagon, or we might come across some bad water, right? You had your version of all those things, but we are going to make it to the destination, and we're in it together. Yeah. And I think that's another key thing, is that when our clients win, of course, we're winning with them. But when things get tough, then we're right there with you too. And we service up till and after the sale. It's not just, thank you, see ya, but we just stay with it until, because we did have some things that lingered that we needed to button up. Right. How did that go?
Seamless on my end. I mean, between you and Melissa getting everything handled and getting the people out there to do the stuff that needed to be done.
Yeah.
It was painless for me.
Well, we have a service that we offer that's called Concierge Plus, Landmark Concierge Plus, and that's where we have the service providers, the technicians, the contractors, the people with the know-how, and they're not always called upon in every situation, but we needed them in this case. Yeah. And you want to talk a little bit about what we needed?
Well, I mean, when it was, there was issues with the septic tank, and I got to give a shout out to Colton.
Yes.
I forget the name of his company, but I won't forget his
Matthews Excavating.
Matthews Excavating.
I coached him in Pee Wee basketball, by the way.
Is that right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, he was
he
good.
didn't talk about that stuff. But when the buyer requested, almost demanded that the sewer line be scoped, and we found the issue that was probably, as Colton told me, because that was there when we moved in, it should have been taken care of, should have been done when we moved in. But to look at that deck and to think, oh man, I gotta reach out to my friend Joe, and we gotta find a way to get over here and take all this decking off and keep it in good shape and be able to put it back on. And when you reached out and said, hey, I got a handyman, he'll be able to do that. That was like 1,000-pound weight lifted off.
Right on. Really. Well,
so having that connection is really important.
And I think when you have, multiple decades of service in the community, making things happen for people, that these relationships develop and they have time to blossom. And it's one thing to try to scramble and find someone at the last minute. It's another one to have, a trusted service provider that you have a long track record of success with, who's invested in not just his business, but our business, and ultimately the client satisfaction. And that's what we were able to do, and I'm glad you were the recipient of it.
Yeah, yeah. And I would have to say too, Brian, I mean, when we first met, part of the reason that I decided to go with you, first of all, when we met at one point that day, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to sell because I'm thinking up here and you're talking down here, and we kind of came somewhere close to the middle.
Yes.
To say, okay, I think we can do it at that price, and we dropped some, but I want to make sure, because you know the guy that was my real estate agent before, I've known him for years, part of our Awana group for many, many years. I was his leader. He did an excellent job. His expertise is more the Colorado Springs area.
Okay.
I think you have more experience out here in the rural area. So he did a great job for me selling my first home and buying this place and buyers. That was a great experience. I don't want to give an impression that it wasn't. Sure. But I think your experience with the rural area and your team together is just what made it all come together.
Well, the team piece is huge, because if you look at, for example, in team sports, it is a team, and one person can't do what a team does and just cover the ground, drill down deeply, get the mission accomplished. And if one person is trying to do it all, it's just too much to be an expert in every area, to be punctual in every area, to be efficient in every area. So that team is one thing that sets us apart. And our team has been together for a long time, and we do country real estate. That's what we do. And we really try to leave a slice of our heart in every transaction. You know, it's not just about the numbers, it's not, but the pricing that you talked about is very important, because pricing really sets the tone. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you come out of the chute priced too high, it just makes even getting the fair price or the reasonable price harder to attain, because then your home starts to languish on the market. And in today's market, once no one's buying, people start thinking, what's the problem with that property? And it's almost like there's a stigma attached, you know, and the property can literally go stale. And at that point, it's very hard to get back in the race. But we use data. You know, we're not out there testing the wind direction and just wondering. We're actually doing the science, and I think I showed you, you know, the data that we have pulled. And I say we, Melissa did a lot of the work, but I reviewed it and to just see, hey, here's what's going on in the buyer's area. We had just sold a home to another man a little bit east of you who had purchased a home from us, and I think, again, you know, whether you're buying or selling, we're doing the homework to see what are the values and where do you need to be. And I think in your case, everybody wants that higher price, but it does neither one of us, and especially you as a customer, any good to do an emperor's clothes dance and go, it'll be great, your price will be great, someone will buy it. There is that proverbial needle in the haystack, but in the market today, the haystack is much bigger and the needle is much smaller. And so it's important to come with a proper price. And we were able to meet, and I personally can't put a home on the market at an unreal price. There's too much on it reputation-wise for our company, and it's not fair to the client when you come in overpriced, because you're really getting them excited about something that you know isn't really scientifically accurate and the data doesn't support. And so I'm glad we were able to move forward and make that work.
Yeah, and I think in that process too, I mean, every time you said, hey, I think we need to drop the price to bring, that was hard to say, okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
But it was those steps that ended up bringing the buyer.
Well, and that's the key too, is that, you know, nobody wants to make a price adjustment. But when you do that, you actually reposition the home in the market, and you're actually giving new buyers that can't afford the home a chance to connect the dots between the price and the value to where they will come out and take a look.
Yeah.
And if you just stay too high, then you're missing those people that are most likely going to buy your home.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it. You can cut it out if you need to. But, you know, when we finally agreed to drop it to the last price that we went to.
Yes.
I just have to tell you honestly, I said, all right, Lord, if this is supposed to sell, this is the price.
Okay.
I'm not going to drop it yet.
Okay.
And 3 days later,
Kaboom.
we have an offer.
So did I or did I not warn you when we started this process that I myself am living proof that the Lord works with knuckleheads? Was that disclosure made to you at the front of the journey? Huh?
Yeah, that's what encouraged me because that goes with this knucklehead.
Okay, well, that is such an important piece. And when you're out there on the other side of the fence and you're a buyer and you're looking at a place like yours, a very desirable property to own, but you just see that price is so high. And, with the interest rates higher today,
Right.
the compound, the payments are higher, that family, the family that bought your home, the price is what allowed them to get in there. And then it's a 3-step process with the financing and the price, because first the buyer has to approve the price, right? Then the lender that the buyer is using has to approve, and then the appraiser has to come out. And so it's a kind of a 3-point process. And if that appraiser, you can be all set up, but if the appraiser is not happy, the deal's not happening. So the price that the appraiser will approve, and that always has to be supported by science, by hard data.
Right.
Now,